Hey, it's Carl from artofshred.com, and this is the Indio Retro Classic by Monoprice. Before we talk about anything, we need to talk about the fact that I bought this guitar brand new from Monoprice for $63.80, which is a ridiculous deal for any guitar that works, basically. But let's talk about that a little bit. First off, if you want to hear about deals when I hear about them, subscribe to Riff City below, and I will let you know, link in the description. But as far as this guitar, the reason I believe it was so cheap is because they were trying to get rid of their old model. They've discontinued this style and updated it, or you can say updated it, changed it, that's what we'll say. So as far as I can tell, the only difference between this one and what they're selling now is the bridge and the saddle, or saddles. This, as you can see, has 6 saddles. The new one has the old kind of classic Tele style 3 saddle situation, and it's not string through like this one. So that's all I can really tell as far as what's different. Now, the price hasn't changed. Their regular price is $110 or $109.99 or whatever. Usually they have discounts. You can find them for, say $100. So is it even worth that though? I want to compare this to the Glarry GTL Tele style guitar that I reviewed some time ago, and I didn't like that one. How about this one? Well, first off, very odd to me, but this actually comes with a decent gig bag, not just like a flimsy piece of cloth or piece of fabric gig bag, but an actual gig bag that, provides a little bit of protection. It was actually shipped just in the gig bag and in a box with no styrofoam, nothing else. So pretty impressive as far as that, but not impressive if they skimped on other things. As I've said before with cheap guitars, I hate when they put in unnecessary accessories like gig bags and the guitar sucks. So I'd prefer them to spend that money on improving the guitar instead of giving a beginner accessories. It's much better if a beginner has a guitar that is decent than if they have a gig bag. Neither here nor there. Well, actually it's both, but whatever. As far as out of the box, let's talk about this. It had at least a dozen sharp frets. And so for a beginner, no, you're not going to like that. If you have any interest in modding or fixing guitars, not a problem. Sharp frets, fret sprout, stuff like that, it can just happen even on a really nice guitar with changing of the seasons, humidity, dryness. That is not in and of itself a deal breaker, except that if you're a beginner, you really want a guitar that just kind of plays out of the box without too much fuss. So this one had a little bit of fuss. What I will say though, the neck feels great. If you saw the Glarry GTL video, that neck was like unfinished and raw. Like I needed to sand it to actually make it playable. Whereas this neck is nice, satiny, smooth, really nice. Let's point out one other negative about this guitar. Back to the saddles. It comes with the Allen wrench to adjust the saddles, but they were difficult to adjust. They're cheap saddles. I felt like the saddle screws would strip, and it was just not a smooth adjustment. Now, is that a deal breaker? No, not really. And if you're buying this to mod it, you're probably going to replace these cheap saddles anyway because it's not that expensive. I got it done. I got the guitar intonated. My goal was basically get it playable in under an hour. It probably took me 30-45 minutes to get it set up. So I had to file at least a dozen frets, You know, a lot of cheap guitars I've reviewed will have like oxidation on the frets, dirty frets, and the fretboard would be dirty and stuff like that. This fretboard was a little dry. I cleaned it with lemon oil. It looks beautiful. It looks really nice. It's rosewood, maple neck. The body, I believe, oh, what is it? I'll put it right here. Anyway, guitars made in China. I think that's probably pretty obvious because any guitar that's at this price range is going to be made in China. Cheap tuners. I am finding that the guitar though, cheap tuners and a cheap plastic nut, the guitar stays in tune. I've played it now for well over 5 hours over the past week. Oh, another negative I want to point out is also when it arrived, the saddles were all kind of bent, and sometimes that will happen on these cheaper guitars because the neck in the neck pocket is actually a little crooked, and so it kind of pulls the saddles. But that wasn't the case here. Once I took off the strings, I just kind of pushed the saddles straight, and they're all straight now. It's not the end of the world. It's one of those little things, and most people, especially like a beginner, probably wouldn't even really notice that. What else can I say? 22 frets. You know, it's a classic kind of Tele style. 2 single coils, volume and tone, and 3-way pickup switch. So you heard in the intro, it sounds pretty good. I don't know what it is about these pickups, but I really like them. And it's just weird for me to say that because I know obviously they're the cheapest pickups you can find. They sound better than a lot of cheap guitars pickups. And I don't know what that is about, but anyway, I like how the guitar sounds. And more importantly, or as importantly, is it plays well. Like this is really, it's shocking to me that this guitar was $60. For the price, it's hard to beat this guitar. And I will say, like, if you're looking at a Tele cheap guitar, this is definitely on par with the Squier Bullets, which are maybe, what are they, like $170, $180 right now? So if you don't care about the brand name, I'm having trouble speaking. I'm speechless. This is a good choice. Lots of caveats, but I like it. If you wanted, like, say, a second guitar, or if you wanted to practice fixing frets and doing that type of stuff, I promise you, it's really fun. It's fun, especially just to know how to do it. So, you know, you don't have to always go pay somebody. And it's fun to know how to intonate a guitar so you don't have to pay somebody. So, you know, that's all that type of stuff. You know, if you want to learn how to swap out pickups and swap out other electronics without maybe practicing on your main instrument, this is a good option. Let's temper expectations a little bit. It's a cool guitar in the price range. Again, I would compare this to a Squier Bullet. And once you go up to, say, a classic Vibe, it's no comparison. But if we're talking about the cheap range, this is, especially because it's so cheap, this is like a no-brainer if you're buying it as like a second guitar and you're looking for a cheap Tele. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. We'll do a little bit more sound demo here at the end. Of course, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps. Thank you so much, and see you next time.